me put up the karakia. Morena tātou. I will start the meeting with our opening karakia. So kia inoi tātou. Tuia e ranga, tuia e raro, tuia e roto, tuia e waho, tuia ngā kaimahi o te kaunahire o Kirikiriroa, whaia te ihi kahurangi, kia u, kia mau, kia ite, haumie, huie, taikia. Kia ora everyone, thank you for joining us in the traffic control, traffic speed limit and road closures hearing panel. Welcome to everyone online. I'm a bit of a Nigel no-mates today in terms of councillors, but thank you everyone for joining online and especially thinking of those with germs. Thank you for keeping them to yourselves. So we'll open the meeting with any apologies. Have we received any apologies today?
From Deputy Mayor over the area won't be here, and Councillor McIndoe and Councillor Wilson will be late.
Lateness. Okay, so it moves that the apologies be accepted. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Jeff online. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Well, you confirmation of the agenda. Are there any points of clarification to be made or any changes? Do we need to note the public submission?
Oh, you could. No, it doesn't need to, but yeah, you could just note
I will just note that there has been a late addition for public forum, and Betty Clow from Awatiri will be speaking to the Victoria Street Saffamore Jones change.
Awatiri.
Yeah. Awatiri.
Yeah, Victoria Street.
Oh, I said she's from Awatiri, but sorry, I'm just going by what it says. Victoria Street change. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm happy to move, Chair.
Happy to move. Thank you, Councillor Maxine. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Anna online. All those in favour say aye. Against?
Motion is carried unanimously.
Okay, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest today? I know we did have one potentially from Councillor McIndoe if he makes it in time for the item 5 on Ayrshire Drive. He said he doesn't feel conflicted on the matter though. Is there any others? No? So I'll move that those be, it doesn't need to be because it's not conflicted. Okay, moving on to item 4, confirmation of the traffic speed limit and road closures hearing panel open minutes of the 21st of May 2025. I'll move that the minutes are true and accurate. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Maxine, all those in favour say aye. Against? Oh.
Motion is carried unanimously.
Perfect. That brings us to item 5, the parking restrictions and traffic bylaw changes. Oh, sorry, we need to do public forum first.
Introduce the topic and then bring
Okay. So I will. I've opened item 5. So we have one public forum submitted today from Betty Clow, who wishes to speak to the proposed parking restrictions for Victoria Street. For those online, that is on page 77 of the agenda. Betty, if you'd like to come forward and take a seat. I'm not sure if you're familiar of the process here today, but... Well, welcome back. Thank you very much for coming in and speaking to us today. You have 5 minutes, 3 minutes? 5 minutes today.
Very good.
And
Is this on?
This is on
It
now,
is on,
yep,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll invite you to speak.
Yeah. Well, I've got a sister in Awatere and I go there every week. And when you come out of the car park, this is the one where she's in hospital care. So it's actually your first unit as you come up Victoria Street. Well, there's cars on both sides as you come out, to the left and to the right. To the left isn't too bad. Somebody from the council came out and spoke with us, and they're talking of taking one parking spot away from there. But with the right, you have to, well, what I do is I wait until I see a car coming to the traffic lights, and you know, it's a big hump, so they've got to really slow down. And if there's cars in front of that, you can judge, right, I've got time to go. But if you're going right, it's nearly a nightmare to see. There's too many cars parked along. I said to the lady, why don't they move the bus stop? If it was moved closer, a bus is only there every 30 minutes, and half the time it doesn't have to stop anyway. And she said, no, that'd be too expensive. And I can't see why not. And anyway, they are talking of taking out 3 cars and putting dotted yellow lines. But those 3 cars from where you come out, I don't feel is enough, because it's not those 2 in front of you, it's where further on towards the bus stop is where you cannot see the cars coming. So it is quite an issue. I expected them to be somebody from Awatere. No wonder they contacted me and said, will I go? But I go there every week, sometimes twice a week, and it is a hazard. And she said, oh, we talked to putting 5-minute parking there so people can unload. They don't need that. You've got a driveway, and down by the door is an unloading area, so you do not need 5-minute parking. Who is going to control that? Because the cars would be there more than 5 minutes. So hopefully they will get something done to make it a lot more safer, actually, for people coming out of there. Because now that one area that comes out, which we're talking about, the new building, their garage underneath parking is on that right of way as well. So there's a lot more traffic coming up and out of Awatere than what there ever was. So we're just hoping that something can be done.
Betty, I appreciate you coming in today and speaking on
Yes.
behalf of the residents at Awatere and all the visitors.
Yeah.
I will open it up for questions, because you do have a bit of time left. Does any councillors online have any questions for Betty?
Yep.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Look, no, it's actually not, Betty. I think you presented your case really well, and I understand what you're saying. I guess, like, can we just can we get staff to have a look into this and to Betty's concerns?
Yeah.
Present.
We've got a lot of
Sorry.
older people too. This is it. Yeah.
Sorry, just I think the
talk
microphone
on
wasn't
hold
on, but staff will speak to this item, to Betty's concerns in
Okay.
the report.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I just have one question for you, Betty. We've got a slight amount of time left. So 3 is not enough. What would you like to see?
Well, being quite honest, I would like to know why it would cost a lot of money to move the bus stop, because it's only got to move probably the width of the bus stop it is now. So why would that? I do notice that they have altered, you know, where your guttering is and how you had that shape. They have made a square guttering along there now. They've got tar seal and they've done that. So I'm just wondering whether they may be thinking about that, because that's what you see in front of a bus stop. So to me, it saves a lot of problem. And you won't get people stopping on dotted yellow lines.
Hopefully not. Sorry, apologies, Maxine. I jumped the queue before I saw your hand up there. You have a question. We have a small amount of time left for you to answer.
Oh, thank you. I'll make it really quick. Betty, thanks for coming to us and being the representative for Awatere, and for being so loving and visiting your sister once or twice a week. I'm sure she appreciates that. My question for you really is about where do you park when you go to Awatere? Is that the driveway up to the left-hand side? Is available parking for you?
It is the parking for where my sister is, it's the hospital care side. And it is, when you come up from the bridge, it is the very first driveway. You go down.
see.
If you came out of, is it Myror Road? If you came out of Myror Road, turn left, you then got to turn right virtually straight away into the car park. The other ones are only for the residents of all the big retirement village they've built now and their visitors. That's all. In fact, I don't know if visitors park there. It is the very first
Lovely.
one.
And we would be taking away 3 car parks from out the front there by the look of the report at that particular part that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know who uses those car parks? If there's
Yes,
plenty of car parking
it is the
available on
staff.
site.
It is the staff.
it's staff.
Yes,
Okay.
so they, that's another issue. They're going to have to find somewhere else to park. They've actually had cars broken, they've parked in Myror Road and had cars broken into. But I mean, they know that they are going to have to find other places, but it's a concern for people going in and out of that driveway.
Totally. Thank you, Betty.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. That's all we have time for. Thank you very much, Betty.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stay around for the rest of the discussions and wait for staff's comment on,
So are they going,
Councillor Jeff's question.
what's the discussion now on?
On all the other
No, well, if-
proposed changes, which includes the
Yeah,
Victoria
well,
Street.
if you don't mind, I will go because I've got a big job for the next 3 days, so yeah,
No worries. We can get staff to reach
Yeah.
out to you and
I'll be able to
And
let them know.
response
Yeah,
of
so thank you very
your
much.
concerns. Thank you for your time today.
Right, bye.
Thank you.
Good morning, councillors and chair.
Good morning, Robin.
Right, so I'm just going to do the normal process where I work through the report and the key items, and happy to take any questions as we go through that, and I will add Awatere Village to that list for working through. Okay?
Lovely. Thank you.
Okay, so first up, Chiefs Court, page 25. That's just a quick update. Elected members asked us to reach out to the planning team with regard to the no stopping requirements around developments and particularly right-of-ways where we had large numbers of properties being built. So basically their thoughts are that it's well enough covered off in the district plan at this stage, and I guess that's something we can revisit if we do a plan change that's applicable. That will be somewhat dependent on government's direction and around all of that, I guess. So it's noted. It's something we'll just continue to work with on a case-by-case basis.
I just noticed Councillor Ways has her hand raised up. Do you have a question on this item? Okay, yep. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, you're on mute, I think. I can't hear you anyway. No, I can't hear. We can't hear you. Sorry, Louise.
What about now?
Yes, now we got you.
Is this better?
Now.
Hooray. Thanks for that, Robin. I was just sort of a bit confused reading the report because it says that the district plan already contains the rules, but then these provisions apply to all new development proposals. So was Chiefs Court something odd stuck between those rules being implemented? Like, I'm just trying to work out how Chiefs Court happened if those rules already exist. Does that make sense?
Yes. So there's Chiefs Court, as it was, complied with the district plan requirements for a vehicle crossing. I think what elected members were asking for was some recognition if that vehicle crossing was serving a large number of properties. So there's no differentiation there currently about the number of properties.
Yeah.
So that's, as I said, that would require a change, and then we just need to find an appropriate time for slotting that in.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Chiefs Court. Thank you, continue.
Right, so the next one is just an update on some work that staff have been doing, ongoing work that we've been doing around mobility car parks around the central city. So we've got 3 sites there that we're wanting to do some improvements. And we do have funding through the Minor Transport Improvements Program for doing the physical works associated with that. Any questions? Not that I can see, everyone's happy. Right. Next one, the heading's slightly wrong. I don't know why it's got Ann Ward Street at the end of it, so apologies for that. But is the corner of Ayrshire and Angus. So that was a proposal that's been put through, and I think people are generally happy with that. Any questions? Councillor Jeff.
Councillor Jeff, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, look, I do have a question on that because I used to live near the area, and I understand the no stopping on the Angus side of the road, but I think is it 40 metres on the Takuti Park side? That just seems excessive to me, and it's a busy park, particularly in the weekends, obviously, with sport. Why such a large area across the road? Because I don't think I'll be able to support that.
So it's fairly standard actually for what the road code says is not parking within an intersection. Recognising that it's a quieter street, that's something that we could have a look at if you wanted to. We could pull that particular line out if elected members as a group wanted us to look at shortening that up a bit. But it basically, the proposal is fairly much reflecting what the traffic road user rules put in place anyway.
Right. Thank you. I think I know you've consulted with the people in the immediate area. I guess my question would be how the wider area might receive it, and I just think there could be possibly some adverse reaction to that. But anyway, look, I'll leave it there for now, and perhaps pick up on it later on if anyone else has similar views. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I also had a similar question, and that one of the submitters had noted that there is not enough car parks currently, or the space between the road. When cars are parked on both sides of the road, there's not a lot of space, which kind of hints that it is a popular area, and with the sporting activities that go on in the weekend. And my question was, will this exacerbate that issue by removing more?
Yeah, I think that the problem that we have all over the city is sports parks, and they do generate high traffic, parking and that sort of thing. We do a specific campaign working with the parks team in the winter sports time, where we try and encourage the various clubs and that sort of thing to encourage their members to carpool to, for many of them, they're actually within walking or riding distance of the park and that sort of thing. And ultimately, if they are driving, to allow time so that they can park perhaps a little further away and walk, rather than we get a lot of illegal parking happening around sports parks. So, not particular to this site, sports parks in general across the city, particularly winter sports, there is never enough parking.
I wonder if there would be an appetite from the committee to have a staff action to look at reducing the amount of no stopping on the Takuti Park side, keeping it.
Yep, so
if
we
I-
could,
if I may, can we maybe just remove this item for approval so that
I think what we could do is probably put the parking around the
corners,
the corners, which will in itself make an improvement for the area. And then with committee's indulgence, if we just take that piece outside Te Kuri Park, so just that line item out, we can do some more work and then it can come to a future meeting, if you'd be comfortable with that.
Would the committee be open to that amendment? I can't see any objection.
I'm just trying to press this bloody thing.
We love technology.
Sorry. I just wanted to say thank you, and I would really appreciate that. Thank you, and thanks for the suggestion, Emma. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just can't operate this thing at the moment.
That's fine. We can work
take
with
that.
the governance team just to make sure we take the right part out of the final recommendations.
So I don't need to formalise anything about that. Okay.
Okay, with that I'll carry on. So we've got Forest Lake and Rata Street. So this is just doing some tidy up for around the shops, just to make sure we continue to get the turnover for those businesses. Any questions? No, everyone's happy.
The business owner that mentioned they'd like to see the hours extended. That 8 to 6 is
That's
standard across all council
yes, correct.
enforcement hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Harakeke Road. So this one is a interesting one where we're getting a large number of large trucks. Sorry, got large in there twice. Parking up while they're waiting to get into the inland port. It has created some genuine safety concerns by the residents who drive through this area. And so we have consulted with the TGH who run the inland port, and they are in support of this no stopping proposal. So that's one, if approved, we will be trying to get in place quickly. Any questions?
I was just wondering whether in our discussions with Tainui Group Holdings, if we had talked to them about the opportunity for them to allow for space within their land.
Yes, we have been talking with them and raised the issue that's being identified at this location. So that's certainly, and we'll be working back through them to make sure that they're letting the various truck operators know about the new stopping restrictions as well.
Thank you. Question from Councillor Maxine.
Oh, that was exactly what I was going to ask you, Robin. That Waikato Tainui will be doing that, or Tainui Group Holdings, I beg your pardon, will be doing that consultation with their drivers to make sure that there's no animosity towards residents or us.
Yes.
Thank you.
So sorry, through the chair, Kevin Stroman for those that are online. So Chris Allen and myself have been talking to Brian Crow directly on this subject along with the team as well. So it's all the way through our steering group meetings and meetings that we have with them. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Thank you, because I was contacted by a couple of residents on this matter with various video footage, and thank you, Robin and the team for taking that up.
Fine. So the next one is some parking changes in Ward Street associated with the Pullman. So previously we've had approval for doing some changes for loading zone areas, and basically we've got a fairly similar quantity of loading zone available there. There was a proposal to have the motorcycle parking just at the front of their the Pullman's loading zone. They've asked us to move that a little bit further outside 40 and 36, so we've done the consultation, and there's been general support for that. Just noting that in the consultation there was the issue raised around the parking loading needs for the Chemist Warehouse. And we are continuing to work with the Chemist Warehouse and the Pullman Hotel as they work through the design of that area we'll be working with them to make sure that the Chemist Warehouse have the ability to do the loading that they need to do. So that's part of the ongoing discussions, and Pullman Group have signed up to that as well.
Lovely, thank you. That was going to be my question, so you've front-footed that. Does anyone else have any questions? No?
Okay. Then we have a few bylaw changes. So these are our registers. Again, just tidying up and making sure that what we've got in the bylaw reflects what we've got on road. And so we've got Avalon Drive and Bears Court Road. Then the cycle paths, which are your off-road facilities. Tristram Street, this is related to the approved Tristram Clarence piece of work, that project. So this is allowing for the section of path between the Pack and Save entrance and Clarence Street to be a shared path. So that's that one. Sorry, I should ask any questions. Sorry, I got going through.
Any
No,
questions
everyone's
about
happy.
it?
Okay. Light vehicle prohibition. This one's a little different to normal because most of the areas that we've done light vehicle prohibitions have been industrial areas. But it was identified by the development team that we've got some new roads. This is in off the back of Pardoa Boulevard behind Fairview Downs. And we've got some streets that are going in there. It'll be a little while before we get any development, and we've got basically a really nice place for people to pull up and do inappropriate illegal street racing type activities. So working with the developer, we're proposing that we put the light motor vehicle prohibition in place. That makes it a lot easier for the police to enforce, because basically they can have a conversation with any vehicle that's there, rather than without this they have to see sustained loss of traction in order to be able to do enforcement. So it makes it a lot easier from a police enforcement perspective. The intention is that as development occurs in this area, we will then take that prohibition off. Just for your understanding, that section of Webb Drive will carry on and links up to the Eastern Transport Corridor project. So that's the big one that's coming up off Ruakura Road. So that will all link through eventually, and then we won't have this sort of long cul-de-sac which we have at the moment.
Thank you. And I see we have a question from Councillor Maxine. Keen boy
Thanks,
racer.
Robin. This is another one that I was approached by residents with their concern around the nuisance that was being created by the racing and the squealies and wheelies and whatever they do there. Do we obliged to put up signage or
Yes.
do anything rather than just put this notice in?
So the sign on page 35 next to the pictures, that sign with no entry,
Yep.
that's the sign that gets put up in the entrance to that area. So it's
what kind of size is it? Do people...
It's a reasonably large size sign because it's got a lot of information on it, yes.
And, in your experience, do, these persistent people take notice of that? Or are we just, is this something that we're doing so that the police can take action?
I think they do take notice because it's so much easier for police to enforce in these areas. Unfortunately, if they're not here, they tend to go somewhere else, which mightn't be as easy to address, but at least we can deal with this one.
Okay, and the cost of that fine is ours?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maxine. Councillor Anna.
Yeah, that was my question, just around the actual enforcement. What would happen? Like, what's a likely scenario there?
So because it's a moving vehicle violation, it's something that New Zealand Police have to enforce. But basically it gives them the ability to park up at the entrance to that area and then stop every light vehicle that comes out of it. And if they don't have a good reason for being there, the bona fide, so that's, you know, that they're working in the area. Obviously, with no buildings there, no activities, that's a fairly simple answer, or they don't live in the area, in that immediate area, then they can issue them an enforcement notice immediately. So that's the key difference with this. Under the Boy Racer Act, the other legislation that they can use is sustained loss of traction, but the police actually have to see that happening. Whereas in this case, it's just you're there, you don't have a good reason to be there, here's the ticket. So it's a lot easier for them to enforce.
Cool, thank you.
Right. And then the last section here is just a tidy up again of our bylaw and around the metered parking places. We've done some wordsmithing in the bylaw itself, just trying to make it a lot clearer. And we're also including a list of our off-street car parks and making sure that we've got that all nice and tidy as well. So if there's no other questions, I'll just quickly jump to the Awatere
Yes, please.
one. So that's
Oh, sorry, Councillor Louise has whipped her
Sorry.
hand up.
Sorry. I just wanted to clarify because in the kind of big table of staff recommendations, there is a bunch of stuff under Sappermore Jones,
Yes.
but there wasn't a nice picture of it in the stuff we just went through. So is now the best time to bring that up, or were you going to talk about it later and I've ruined the whole process?
I wasn't going to talk about it, but how about if we jump to page 77, I'll talk to the Awatere one, and then 78 happens to be Sappermore, so and then I'll jump into that one if that works for you.
That's fine.
Okay. So just for Victoria Street, so just for some clarification, there is an existing P5 in Victoria Street that we're removing. One of the early proposals that staff put when we were talking with the Awatere Village was about putting a further section of P5, and I think that was what Betty was referring to. But in talking to Awatere Village, that was abandoned, that idea, so there's not any P5 proposed there. Again, there was talk around the amount of parking that we're removing, so at this stage we believe that it's going to be more than sufficient, but you know, we're happy to continue working with the village regarding that. The idea of relocating the bus stop, the costs associated with that would be significant. At the moment, it's got one of the Umedia bus shelters there, so that's got the electronic signs and bits and pieces. So relocating one of them is quite expensive. Obviously, you have to get power connection and that sort of thing. It does have the raised curb as well, so to relocate that sort of bus stop does take a bit more effort. But at this stage, what we will do is recommend that approval of the proposal, and we are happy to carry on working with the Awatere Village to see how that works and whether we need to come back and look at any more restrictions once it's in place.
Okay. We've got a few questions online, so we'll go to Councillor Maxine.
Oh, thank you, Robin. Good work. Totally understand the moving bus issues. Bus stop, rather. The length of yellow lines that you talk about in there, is that about the same length as a bus stop?
3 cars, 15, yes, in the right sort of order, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. That was all.
Thank you, Councillor Maxine. Councillor Louise.
From the person we had in public forum, my sort of broad takeaway from what she said was broadly to be in line with what we were proposing. Can I just double check that that was other people's understanding as well?
I believe so. I think that she was possibly involved with some of the early discussions from which staff took away the feedback and came up with a revised proposal, which we believe that they're happy with. So yes.
And can I just be annoying and flag maybe as just a note that at the bus stop there is actually a pole that is between the bus stop and the curb that makes the distance between like the edge of the shelter and the pole and the curb like a really tight gap to go through. Because I've biked through here quite often. That pole is like a nightmare. And I just thought I'd flag in case we were ever actually going to move the bus stop or going to do anything else, that there is a what do you call it? A vertical hazard.
Very good. I can get the team to have a look at that and see if we can do a tidy up at the same time when we're out.
I'm sure that the pole is something important on it, but it just seems to be in a really inconvenient place.
Yeah. No, that's fine. We can follow up on that. So the last one, so on page 78.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Just before you go, I'll
sorry,
just check that, Councillor Jeff, you were happy with Robin's comments in relation to your question through public forum? Yeah. Carry on.
Thank you. So the last one, I hope, Victoria Street, Sappermore. So basically, we had many years ago brought some proposals for parking changes as a result of the Waikato Regional Theatre work. We've continued to work with them, and this is now the sort of final version to tidy things up and make sure that we've got everything in place legally. Key features, I guess, that have changed since what was previously approved is that there is a loading zone now being proposed in Sappermore Jones Place, and that works specifically, really well with the rear entrance to that facility, including for the cafes and that sort of thing, for getting all of their supplies in on a regular basis. We have the loading zones in the front of the theatre itself, which will allow for cars it's loading zone in general, so it can be used by people dropping off passengers, can be used by people dropping off reams of paper or foodstuffs and that sort of thing. And then at the northern end, we're looking to have a drop-off pickup sort of area where actually, sorry, the better one is page 79, sorry. So that will allow for the likes of your shuttles, your buses and those sorts of people to be bringing in the large groups to the theatre operations. So happy to take any questions on that.
Councillor Louise has a burning question that she's excited about, so...
Well, I'm glad we talked through it because I was looking at the wrong page and I was looking at the ones we were rescinding and I was like, I thought we decided on other things. So this is really useful for just looking at the next slide. But I was just curious, two questions off the bat. One is, could you provide us, even if it was just in an email, about what additional mobility parks are nearby to this? So I can see the two that we're going to put at the top of Sappermore Jones, but I was just curious about where the other most nearest ones are.
I can answer that. So those are existing mobility car parks, so we're retaining them. Outside the museum is where we've got the other mobility car park. But the idea of that loading zone is that also will enable anyone to pull up and help somebody out of the vehicle and then go and find appropriate parking as well. So that will also hopefully work for that ability to literally drop people at the front door if you're not able to walk the longer distances as well.
Yeah, are we, and this might not be a Robin question, but are we prepping any comms about parking for the theatre when it opens? Because it is a very reoccurring question that I get, especially I was at a retirement village just the other week. It would be really great to have some kind of map of like, here's the Knox Street car parking building with X hundred parks in it. Here are the loading zones, you know, here are the mobility parks, just to really front foot some of that, because I think there is a real interest.
Yes, I'm on a working group. I can take that back through and make sure that that
Cool.
gets picked up by the appropriate party. I'm not saying that's necessarily council, but yes, we will.
Yeah, someone.
Certainly, yes.
Cool. And then the second question I just had was, I know that we did a mobility car park review quite recently, but just in the context of the theatre eventually opening, I hear. I live and hope that it will actually open. Are we able to just sort of like monitor this and come back if there's anything we want to change? Like, are we able to be quite agile there?
We are agile to the extent of the frequency of these meetings.
Okay, cool.
But yes, yeah.
I
mean,
always want there to be more traffic panels, so that's great.
yeah, look, the mobility
Okay.
parking in general, we're always responding. We're reaching out to the CCS disability and that sort of thing. So I expect that once the theatre gets up and running, we will get some more calls for that, and then we'll work through that and certainly see what we can accommodate.
Cool, awesome. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Councillor Louise. I will welcome Councillor McIndoe to the committee. No problem. We've got some more questions. Councillor Maxine.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Louise. You've covered off quite a bit there and dealt with my inquiry. The loading zones in different colours that you've got there, Rob, are they got the same purpose?
Yes, they
Or
are.
are they a little bit different, that green and the blue?
No, they should be the same.
Same.
Sorry, apologies for that. Yes.
Oh, that's right. I just thought maybe one's for
No, I think
some
the
different purpose, but the one around the corner, that is different.
That is different. So the one in Sappermore Jones is a goods service vehicle, so you have to have a goods service licence to use that. So it is very much around that commercial type of activity. So we see that.
I got a ticket once. I got a ticket once for sitting in a commercial goods zone.
Right.
Because it said loading zone, and I thought, I could use that quickly.
Yes.
But gee, our parking staff were quicker than me. So, good. And we do say that on the sign, and when I read it properly, I saw it. Just when we're doing that, can we just be clear about what these things are and what they're for and any of that comms? And I would imagine that the theatre will have, a parking plan for all of their theatre goers.
Yes, so one of the requirements through the consent is for traffic management plans. So that's something that we will be working with them soon to understand and make sure that, the busy days have appropriate management in place. And also when they bring in their large truck and trailer units into the bottom of Sappermore Jones, bringing in the large containers of equipment, etc., that they have, again, the appropriate traffic management to make sure everyone's safe while the truck is backing and those sorts of manoeuvres. So,
And we've worked quite closely to make sure that we've given them enough length for that.
Yes, this has been several meetings and ongoing discussions with them to make sure that we've got this all correct for them.
Oh, great. And finally, the shuttle-only parking, that's long enough for tour buses to be able to drop off their busfuls of theatre goers.
Yes, so basically it utilises an existing bus stop with additional length. So yes, we're happy that we can get the good coaches in there as well as the smaller minivans and that sort of thing can pop in there as well.
Lovely, thank you. That's great.
Thank you, Councillor Maxine. Councillor Anna.
Yeah, thank you. My question was around buses. So you said that the shuttle only is an existing bus stop, so which buses stop there? Or do you mean it's just an old one?
It's an old one, so it used to be where the regional council services went. When the work for the theatre started, all of that area's been boarded off, and there's no longer a bus service down there. So we basically just left the restrictions as they were so that we could work with the theatre, work out what exactly we were going to put in place, and then that's what we've come today. So while we're rescinding an existing bus stop, it's not one that's been used for a very long time.
Okay. And where where else are there bus stops in proximity to the theatre? Or bus services, I suppose. Bus stops and bus services.
So
it's quite a few.
Bus services are primarily Anglesey Street will be your key location for that. Coach parking we have in Caro Street, just outside the council chambers. With the Caro Street proposed changes, we will reduce some of that, but we're still retaining at least one coach park there. And we've also identified a couple of locations further up Victoria Street and around the Novotel area where we're going to create nighttime bus stops or coach parks. So it's a Shrek-like by day, there's loading zones by night, they're coach parking. So trying to sort of recognise where some of those large groups are likely to potentially stay overnight and need to have a coach parked up.
Okay, and that detail will be part of the theatre's traffic management plan too?
The coach parking, not part of their traffic management plan, but we would hope would be part of the comms that they're putting out so that anyone who's organising a group, to come across can then provide that information through to the bus companies that they're using.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Anna, and welcome Councillor Ewan to the committee. No problem. We're just on page 79 talking about the Victoria Street and Sappermore Jones Place changes, proposals. Does anyone else have any further questions on this? I just had one. Apologies, I tried to find it, but apologies if I've missed it. But what consultation was done with the businesses on these changes? Have we engaged with the likes of CBD Business Association, or is it just with the theatre itself?
For this one, it's primarily the regional theatre. There's been no change for the businesses on the southern side of Sappermore Jones, and what they are getting is a loading zone, which I think will be of use to them as well, their existing activities. So it's, I guess we've worked with the affected party, which is our standard approach for these.
Okay. Thank you. And is it the final item?
That's it.
You're
I've finished,
to?
unless anyone's got any more questions.
Is there any other issues or questions anyone want to raise on any other items in the report? No. So just noting the...
Can I?
Whoop. Yes.
Sorry. I was just looking at the gazetting of the cycle lane on Avalon Drive.
Can you give us a page number?
And I'm just double checking that. That's 83.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just also be annoying for a second time today? I also cycle that very regularly, and the amount of massive trucks for the car dealership that park blocking the footpath and the cycle lane is a nightmare. And I just wanted to flag that since we're gazetting it as a cycle lane, if someone could remind them to not then park in it, that would be really great.
Will do.
I promise this won't all be my own personal cycling gripes.
That's helpful, thank you. So just noting the further work to be done on Ayrshire Drive and the further negotiations with Awatere Village. There's no other proposed changes from committee members. They're happy with everything else. So we need to.
I need my glasses.
Sorry?
I've got Amy going, is that the right one? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I need to put my glasses on to double check.
So with that,
Yes.
we need to
Thank you, Amy.
move the parking restrictions and traffic bylaw changes. We have a mover. Happy to second, I guess I'll move then. All those, I'll open for debate. Does anyone have any debate? Councillor Jeff.
I just can't work the button today. Thank you. Yeah, look, thanks, Chair. And just in regard to the Takudi Park, thanks, Emma, for raising it, and thanks, Robin, for your flexibility there. I appreciate that. You having another look at that one. Thank you. Happy with the rest.
Thank you, Councillor Jeff. Councillor Louise.
Just on the off chance that this might be the last traffic panel of the term, if we have an extra one, that's great. I'll be equally as thrilled. But I just wanted to take a short moment to really thank Robin and the staff for all the work they do for this, because it's probably one of the more technical things that we see. Like, there's so many tables in these agendas, and there's so many, really great diagrams made to try and translate that into something that is understandable by a normal member of the public. But I really appreciate this committee for the way that it responds to people's requests, and seeing the information in the tables about how we talk to members of the public and what they felt. I feel like Traffic Panel is often a really feel-good committee, because we're making changes that, someone on their street have a problem with and we can just action it. So, just wanted to thank staff. Thanks, Emma, for your chairing. And yay for more Traffic Panel, hopefully.
Thank you, Councillor Hutt. I'll just add to that and and also echo my thanks to staff, to Tanya, to Kevin, to Robin, Gordon, and the team. You do outstanding work in the community, and it is often not seen or recognised or praised, but it does take a lot of work and effort. So thank you very much for the time you put into these reports and helping us understand some complex diagrams and nuances of every street across the city. So thank you very much. And thank you for your report today, and also to the residents and submitted who have given feedback to help shape these changes. I appreciate staff looking further into Ayrshire Drive and the impact of removing parks on the Te Kooti Park side, and look forward to those options returning to us. I thank our public submitter Betty today on behalf of Awatere visitors who does seem to be largely supportive of making these changes, but I appreciate staff taking the time to making sure we've got that balance right. And finally, appreciate staff working with New Zealand Police to reduce the impact of boy races. I just think it's great when we can help make each other's lives easier and improvements for the residents. So, big thank you to everyone, and look forward to some of these items coming back to us. So, with that, I'll move to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Against?
The motion is carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of our exciting traffic speed limit road closure hearing panel. So we'll close with the karakia. Tēnei te whakairi, tēnei te whakawātia, haumie, huie, taikea. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Chair.